Hey, what's going on, guys? Nick Trigili, IFBB Pro. Just want to let you guys know this video covers steroids, and Generation Iron does not promote or endorse illegal drugs of any kind. This video is strictly for educational purposes only, but for now, let's take a watch of this episode. So jumping right into this topic, this is a very exciting topic to discuss because at my age, where I started in my career, I started at 15 years old, and I got a lot of criticism for that. But do I care? Do I think about it? Do I object? No, because it's my decision, ultimately. I wasn't influenced by any outsiders. This was just my decision at 15. I couldn't go online and ask Instagram. I couldn't go online and ask Facebook. You know, this was something I had in my head. I planned because I said, hey, you know what? I want to be the best decathlete there is in the high school and college ever. Okay, I was a decathlon. I ran the decathlon in high school. That was something I really wanted to be the best at. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start using something. You know, I want to be the best. Everyone else does it. Why can't I do it? I didn't tell a soul. Nobody knew. Not even my best friend knew. Okay, I started my first cycle at Winstrol, and it worked. I was hooked ever since then because I saw the results of it immediately. My career went through the roof. I got sponsorships. Everyone was looking at me at the time. So from that point on, you know, obviously it evolved into more heavier stuff. It evolved into bigger cycles, more risks, more reward type of thing, if you want to put it that way. I entertained that very early at 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Like throughout all those years I was using. Some may look at me like I'm absolutely crazy, but hey, Arnold Schwarzenegger did it. I mean, why can't I do it? So, and he ended up okay, right? He's doing pretty good for himself. So I looked at it like this. I was so dedicated to the pursuit of bodybuilding, to be the champion, to be Mr. USA. That's all I had in my mind at 16, 17 years old. I said, I want to be Mr. USA. I see magazines about Mr. USAs. I see pictures of him, how he's treated, how he looks. I wanted to literally emulate exactly what I saw in my mind. I wanted to picture it and do it and literally make it come to life. I knew at that age I was doing it. Like I already taught myself that this is what I'm going to do. It was like The Secret. Everyone reads The Secret. You visualize it before you do it. I was doing that at 16, 17, 18 years old because I had such a strong goal in mind, and that was just to become what I wanted to become. And that was Mr. USA. And it sounded cheesy to everybody. I barely told anybody that, if anybody. I told them I want to be a bodybuilder. I never spoke above myself. I never was like that type of guy. I never was, cocky and arrogant. I never would talk someone down, tell them I'm going to be Mr. USA, look out. I never would speak that way. That was my own goal. I kept everything to myself, and I just worked hard at it. I worked day in and day out. I worked all these crazy jobs, selling cars, stocks, everything you can imagine, selling supplements, working at the gym, personal trainer, gym manager. Like I had every job imaginable just to support my bodybuilding career. I didn't care if I had $1 in the bank. As long as I was eating, my bills were paid, I was good. And my gym membership was ready and active. I was a happy camper as long as I had those three things. So my bank account at the time was nothing because my goal was bodybuilding. Okay, it wasn't steroids. Okay, everyone now thinks steroids is the goal and then bodybuilding. Before it was just bodybuilding to me, and then steroids were part of the process. Now the process is get my steroids, then start the process. I started this process. Like it was ongoing. It wasn't stopping. And I would just throw it into the mix of steroids and keep it going. But it never was the object. It wasn't the center of attention. And that's what a lot of people have to get away from. The center of attention is not the drugs. The center of attention is you, your goals, how driven you are, how motivated you are, how bad you really want it. All those things is what makes up that perfect picture at the end. Mr. USA. So I try to tell kids there's not a proper age, but there is one thing to keep in mind. Once you accept the fact that you're going to put this needle in your body or take this pill, most likely you're going to take the needle because it's stronger, it's more powerful. Once you dedicate yourself, I'm going to do that and agree and actually go through with it. You cannot just cold turkey, quit halfway through, change your mind. Once you make that commitment, this is your first commitment you're ever going to make in your life. that is going to be detrimental if you don't fix yourself afterwards. Because you could have, I'm not going to go to that extreme and say you have lifetime problems, but you could definitely hurt yourself if you're not safe with it and you're not treating your body like a precious, one thing you have for the rest of your life. There is also post-cycle therapy you have to take care of after you're on. And that's where a lot of kids don't take into consideration. Like, hey, I got my $150 for my cycle, but yeah, we need another $300 to come off. Well, I don't really need that, right? Now, why would you not need it? Why would you not want to take care of yourself when you're done doing something? Which is the mind-boggling. So right there, when I know someone's not committed, I tell them, you're not at the age yet to do this. When you come to me and you know all about the SIP, DECA, test, EQ, D-ball, endorse, and you're telling me stuff, you're telling me, hey, I need this for my post-cycle because you looked beyond further than that. Hey, what do I do after this? Because you're concerned. You're curious. That means you're devoted to it to me. And you're at the right age now to, I believe, that you can do it. And now, hey, I'm not going to sit there and help a 16-year-old get drugs, okay, or a 17-year-old get drugs or tell them it's okay to go do this. This is obviously up to them and their parents. The parents have to know what that kid is doing or I'm not getting involved. That's just coming from a trainer standpoint, guys. From a personal standpoint, I think in a perfect scenario, you train hard as you can, you eat as best as you can, you spend all your money on that. 16, 17, 18, 19, see where you're at 18, 19, 20 years old. Is your goal to be a bodybuilder? Now, I'm not going to play bias and say, hey, just because you're a bodybuilder, it's okay to do steroids. I'm not that guy. I'm going to say, hey, at least you have a goal in mind to use them and apply them for instead of just going to the gym and looking good. Because that I don't agree with. That you can go take that and shove it up your ass because that's not my type of person I want to associate with that wants to use steroids at that young age. You do that when you're older and you need them, okay, for rejuvenation purposes, TRT, when you're older, hormonal replacement, stuff like that. But when you're younger and you have all the drive and the motivation, the testosterone you need, the last thing you need is take more. So use that and maximize it so you possibly can. Use whatever resources you can out of supplements, over-the-counter stuff. Over-the-counter stuff is just, it's revolutionized since I was a kid. I used to have Celtec, was a bottle of sugar, okay? So now the supplements actually work, and there's track records of proven results that they work. So you guys are in a whole different ballgame with over-the-counter stuff. Maximize all those. There is no rush to go ahead and go to that extreme scenario where, A, if you're not thorough with it, you're not as OCD with it as you should be, you could, screw yourself up. And you don't want to go down that road. Now, if you become a dedicated bodybuilder, this is part of the lifestyle. So if you do go down this road, it's a long, dark road. And you got to be prepared to that, things could get altered. Your mind could get altered. Your hormones could get altered. Your normal body composition gets altered. You're changing your genetics, okay, to a certain degree. You're changing the way you look, your body operates, all the inside stuff. We can get very scientific with it. But just throwing it out there, you make this dedication, and whatever age that is, you're doing it for X amount of time, 10, 12, 14, 16, 20-week cycle. You need to come off, and now your body's permanently altered from what you just did. There's no turning back. So let's just say you did run a cycle, and you're the one in a million guys that had really bad effects from it. You have acne, you had bad depression now, you have anxiety, you have all these side effects. Was it worth it? What are you doing with it now? No, you're just the guy at the beach? Like the guy that takes his shirt off in the gym? You're wearing a tank top in the gym? Was all that worth it? So that's why I try to explain to kids. You could be that one in a million and have all the worst negative side effects possible. Literally, how they list everyone, like nausea, vomiting, could have lose your leg, could severe, all those stupid, crazy ones. They just put them on and they cover their butts. You could be that guy. Now, do you want to risk that just to look good in the gym? And that wraps up this episode of Bodybuilding Coach. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to Generation Iron. You can also follow me at Nick World Class on Instagram. And don't forget to send all your questions to info@generationiron.com to have a chance to have an answer on one of these episodes. Thanks again for watching. Take care.